When a loved one dies, you have to decide on either burial or cremation. Many times it's already figured out in advance, but sometimes the death is unexpected. The one thing that families should not have to worry about when their loved one is cremated is, are they really in the urn? Unfortunately, that's exactly what families that used the Back to Nature funeral home in Colorado had to worry about when authorities found nearly 200 decomposing bodies in a decrepit building. Hello, I am Sean, and if you're new here, then welcome to my channel. If you're returning, then thank you for coming back. It's great to see you again. Twice a week, I research true crime that I find interesting to tell you about. I want to make sure that the victims are remembered, and there are a lot of victims out there to remember. If you're not subscribed, please do so. It is free. Also, if you want to show me some love, check out my Patreon. The address is in the description below. If you ever have any ideas for future true crimes, please leave me a message and I will look into them. I have used quite a few from suggestions from you guys. I don't know. My homage to saying thank you for viewing, I guess. I don't know. So, on with today's true crime. It's an ongoing case, so I'm really don't have much on it. I just found it quite interesting, so that's the reason I wanted to include it today. So, Back to Nature was based in Colorado Springs, and they had been renting a building in Primrose, Colorado, just south of the Springs. It was owned by John and Carrie Halford. They said Back to Nature because they wanted to do burials without using any chemicals like formaldehyde and things like that, embalming fluid. They just wanted to be natural. I don't know. In October of 2023, neighbors near the Penrose building noticed a putrid smell, and they had state regulators who had not conducted any inspections on the funeral home since 2017. They contacted them to complain about this putrid smell. When authorities actually arrived, they saw a stain coming out from under the front door. The stain was liquid from the decomposing bodies that were stacked up on each other inside the building. Now, since this is still an ongoing case, the Halfords have not been sentenced yet, and I don't think their trial has been fully. I know one trial is supposed to be at the end of this month. So a lot of this stuff is just what has been presented so far. So, surveillance video showed that John Halford treated bodies like sandbags more than humans. Some of these bodies were put up with buckets underneath them to collect the fluids. One of the areas had like 40 bodies stacked on top of each other. And some of these bodies were actually placed in storage totes. Total disregard for all of these deceased people. And that's really sad. Tanya Wilson, she used the funeral home to cremate her mother, but she learned that the ashes that she got were not, in fact, her mother. She has said, "It haunts me. I imagine my mom folded up and put into a storage tote. I also picture my mom in every one of these situations." And this is just one out of 190 families that uh, had loved ones there. Some of the bodies had been at the funeral home in Colorado, but John moved them because the odor complaints started in Colorado Springs. So he moved it down to Penrose. Surveillance video from September 9th of 2023 shows him moving these bodies. Allegedly, the Halfords took monies from family and insurance companies to pay their own personal expenses. Some of these said expenses are trips to California, Florida, Vegas, laser body sculpting, shopping at Gucci, and even Tiffany's. They even bought $31,000 worth of cryptocurrency. Uh, Investigators suspected that Halford had used concrete mix to place into the urns. There were records that he had bought 600 pounds of concrete mix from Home Depot. And their fears is that some of the families that received their loved ones in urns actually got concrete. Well, as soon as this all blew up, the Halfords fled Colorado. They did not want to be arrested, and they ran away. Luckily, they were picked up in Oklahoma in November of last year. Both of them have been charged with 190 counts of abuse of a corpse. They've also been charged with 5 counts of theft, 4 counts of money laundering, and more than 50 counts of forgery. Both he and his wife are being tried separately, and John just went to court on February 8th. When he entered the court and exited the court, he was swarmed by families and reporters. I just couldn't even imagine how ticked off I would be at him if my loved one was one of those people. All of the corpses that they found, except 22 of them, have been identified. So, they can give them proper burials and things like that. I read someplace that to give them all, actually cremate all the bodies would cost about $57,000. Yeah, that's a lot right there. Like I previously said, this is an ongoing story. The bodies date back to 2019, and the remains that were supposed to be cremated range from adults to infants and even fetuses. They were being stored at room temperature since coolers were broke down. They did have makeshift coolers, a refrigeration system, but they had not been working for months. Texts were uncovered between the Halfords, and one of them dated back in 2020 was John saying that he's worried about getting caught. Investigator Kevin Clark stated that one of the messages said, options: A, build a new machine; B, dig a big hole and put lye in it; C, dig a small hole and build a large fire; or D, I go to prison, which is probably going to happen. It's unknown what that new machine was. I don't know if it's a cooler or what. They didn't ever give a definition to it. Another text from John was complaining about, and it's his words, not mine, getting people juice on him while transferring bodies. Yeah, I don't know. But I'm going to follow up on this more at a later date after sentencing is done. I just wanted to bring this out because it was extremely interesting. I mean, there have been cases where, maybe 5, 10 bodies were disposed of incorrectly, but 190, oh my, that's awful. And, my dad died back in 2020, and I'd hate to think that my dad is not in that urn. That'd piss me off so bad if I found out that that was cement mix and not his ashes. And yeah, that smell. I mean, I've shown pictures of people in hazmat suits going in and out of this building, and it's ridiculous. That had to been terrible, and I feel bad for all these families that had loved ones that were just thrown away. So, otherwise, I will follow up on the story after their sentencing. So sorry that this was a short one. I was just trying to do do something nice, a little bit different than normal. So thank you for watching. If you're not subscribed, please do so. If you want, show me some love on Patreon. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye.